when I met the team in Cancun, I was instantly hooked up to start to work on a self-sovereign payment system. So you could see a lot. You can, I mean, I don't know if you are in the crypto space, but you might have heard all these cards that allow you to use Bitcoin through the Visa network. I think Festy is basically not to use that, to give the user control over their fund. So why blockchain? Basically, it stems from that. It's to give control to the user. So blockchain is a big word, and it's basically because it's an ecosystem. It's not just one thing. It's not just Bitcoin or it's not just Dash or whatever. It's an ensemble, and it all starts. Or maybe there is all, of course, there is computer it's themselves, but at least there is public key cryptography. This is one of the base building block of it, which allows to control your data, being able to encrypt it, but also being able to sign it, to say this is from me and not anybody else. And then there is blockchain, of course. Satoshi Nakamoto consensus, as it's called, there is new ones now being invented, was the revolution. And what it brings is really the scarcity of data. If you think about data, you can always copy it. That's basically what BitTorrent is for, and you can copy, and that infinitely. And blockchain is a revolution, is that we now can represent data which you cannot copy. The only way to send someone Bitcoin, you have to transfer. You cannot keep it. And that's really the key innovation. And the other piece is the off-chain layers. Because basically blockchain is a trade-off between security and scalability. So off-chain layer allows you to kind of bypass that. But I guess I went a bit ahead already because, yeah, I wanted to mention that later. But basically, anyway. So Festy aimed to create a user-friendly, decentralized payment system for the masses in one big sentence, I would say. But there is problems with this ecosystem. I mean, if you think about it, we are maybe in the 70s of the internet or something like that. We are very early. We are definitely not in the 90s as we could hear often. And there is three main problems: user experience and scalability. And actually, the third one in some ways user experience, but I think it's so unique that it's actually what makes encryption not available as well in the beginning of email, is that it gives user a big responsibility. So the first problem is paramount. So I mean, if you are used to cash, it's very convenient. Credit cards have insurance protection and all this stuff. And as soon as you go to blockchain, suddenly you are on your own. And of course you can go to an exchange, but then you are not anymore in control. And you are basically back to the same starting point, and you are missing the point, because while there is a clear benefit for society as a whole to get user in control, adoption requires an user experience that is better than the one accustomed to. And there is another aspect of it, which is volatility, which is maybe only a current problem, but to adoption, it cannot be just put aside. And the scalability problem cannot be avoided if you want a payment system. So yeah, as I say, like blockchain is a trade-off. So it will require, whatever we come up will require both off-chain and on-chain solution. And there is lots of options currently being built as we speak. And so Festy is not going to reinvent everything, so we are looking closely at what is happening around us. So the third problem was user responsibility. And I mean, I don't know if you know, but if you have managed your own fund, you might use them on exchange, but this is not cryptocurrency, this is just another bank. So if you experience it, you will realize that, yeah, if you lose your private key, you lose everything. And nobody can, so So there is solution around that, and this is basically to have some sort of backup. There is few names out there, like there is Uport, for example, in the Ethereum space, is to be able to socially distribute your keys and be able to recover from few of them without them being able to recover your keys. But all of these solutions, you need to make sure that the user is not losing control, because I mean, if you put your private key on your Gmail account, then you are missing the point. So this is a very difficult problem to solve. So Festy approach, so we basically there are multiple phases to it. So the first thing is a minimal viable product we are building, which will be ready in March, 29th of March to be exact. And it's basically to have a useful product, to bring awareness to sovereignty on blockchain technology in general. So it is the first phase. It won't use all the features we plan to do. The user won't be on the full control, but it's one way to introduce them and to bring slowly, instead of starting with a big thing which is not visible, start with something visible and start from there. So it's in a closed, secure environment, which the name comes from at event and festival. So the goal is basically to offer a seamless payment experience. But the long-term vision is to bring a payment system where users are in control. And using the same technology we use in the festival, which has been this kind of smart card, where your fund, your private key resides there and you are in control of your fund. But this is not a Visa card. So it means if you lose, you cannot just go back to your bank and say, oh, I lost now. This is, you take care of the responsibility. Hopefully we will have a system that will allow you to lose it and bring it back. But that won't be, that will be because of your social network, basically a decentralized backup system. So also, I think it's a transition, but it's a stable coin. So we will need something stable for people to be able to, especially for the vendor, if you think about it. The vendor will have to pay, saying as a transition, will have to pay using fiat currency. So we need a way so that he doesn't need to incur loss. And there is solution out there, so we are investigating them as well. And of course, on top of that, we will need a off-chain network for the transaction themselves. So this is like, for those we know, is like a payment channel. And then we will of course have to integrate with a merchant, with maybe the classical hardware that is used for credit card. We could reuse them, but having with our own cards. So that's kind of the general overview of Festy. Thank you.